Hey, welcome back to the corner. It's part two for your Sunday, June 26, 2022. Check out part one if you haven't already. You already know what to do with the channel. If you like the content, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when the next video part comes. Like and comment if you want. Share, most importantly, so other people can gain the same benefits you're getting. I read from the Common English Version of the Bible. You can find that in many other translations in the YouVersion app found in the App Store or Google Play. That said, let's continue. I'm going to restart with Matthew chapter 5. Now, when Jesus saw the crowd, he went up a mountain. He sat down, and his disciples came to him. He taught them, saying, Happy are people who are hopeless, because the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Happy are people who grieve, because they will be made glad. Happy are people who are humble, because they will inherit the earth. Happy are people who are hungry and thirsty for righteousness, because they will be fed until they are full. Happy are people who show mercy, because they will receive mercy. Happy are people who have pure hearts, because they will see God. Happy are people who make peace, because they will be called God's children. Happy are people whose lives are harassed, because they are righteous, because the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Happy are you when people insult you and harass you and speak all kinds of bad and false things about you, all because of me. Be full of joy, be glad, because you have a great reward in heaven. In the same way, people harass the prophets who came before you. You are the salt of the earth, but if salt loses its saltiness, how will it become salty again? It is good for nothing except to be thrown away and trampled under people's feet. You are the light of the world. The city on top of a hill can't be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a basket. Instead, they put it on top of a lampstand, and it shines on all who are in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before people, so they can see the good things you do and praise your Father who is in heaven. Don't even begin to think that I have come to do away with the law and the prophets. I haven't come to do away with them, but to fulfill them. I say to you very seriously that as long as heaven and earth exist, neither the smallest letter nor even the smallest stroke of a pen will be erased from the law until everything there becomes a reality. Therefore, whoever ignores one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called the lowest in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever keeps these commands and teaches people to keep them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. I say to you that unless your righteousness is greater than the righteousness of the legal experts and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. You have heard that it was said to those who lived long ago, don't commit murder. Found in Exodus 20, verse 13. And all who commit murder will be in danger of judgment. But I say to you that everyone who is angry with their brother or sister will be in danger of judgment. If they say to their brother or sister, you idiot, then they will be in danger of being condemned by the governing council. And if they say you fool, they will be in danger of fiery hell. Therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar and there remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift at the altar and go. First, make things right with your brother or sister, and then come back and offer your gift. Be sure to make friends quickly with your opponents while you are with them on the way to court. Otherwise, they will haul you before the judge. The judge will turn you over to the officer of the court, and you will be thrown into prison. I say to you in all seriousness that you won't get out of there until you pay the very last penny. You have heard that it was said, don't commit adultery. But I say to you that every man who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery in his heart. And if your right eye causes you to fall into sin, tear it out and throw it away. It's better that you lose a part of your body than that your whole body be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to fall into sin, chop it off and throw it away. It's better that you lose a part of your body than that your whole body go into hell. It was said, whoever divorces his wife must give her a divorce certificate, and it's found in Deuteronomy 24, verse 1. But I say to you that whoever divorces his wife except for sexual unfaithfulness forces her to commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Again, you have heard that it was said to those who lived long ago, don't make a false solemn pledge, but you should have followed through on what you have pledged to the Lord, found in Leviticus 19, verse 12, Numbers 30, verse 2, and Deuteronomy 23, verse 21. But I say to you that you must not pledge at all. You must not pledge by heaven, because it is God's throne. You must not pledge by the earth, because it is God's footstool. You must not pledge by Jerusalem, because it is the city of the great king. And you must not pledge by your head, because you can't turn one hair white or black. Let your yes mean yes, and your no mean no. Anything more than this comes from the evil one. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. It's found in Exodus 21:24, Exodus 21, verse 24, Leviticus 24, verse 20, Deuteronomy 19, verse 21. But I say to you that you must not oppose those who want to hurt you. If people slap you on your right cheek, you must turn the left cheek to them as well. When they wish to haul you to court and take your shirt, let them have your coat too. When they force you to go 1 mile, go with them too. Give to those who ask, and don't refuse those who wish to borrow from you. You have heard that it was said, you must love your neighbor, found in Leviticus 19, verse 18. Leviticus 19, verse 18, And hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who harass you, so that you will be acting as children of your Father who is in heaven. He makes the sun rise on both the evil and the good, and sends rain on both the righteous and unrighteous. If you love only those who love you, what reward do you have? Don't even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet only your brothers and sisters, what more are you doing? Don't even the Gentiles do the same? Therefore, just as your heavenly Father is complete in showing love to everyone, so also you must be complete. It's Matthew chapter 5. You can tell we have a lot to cover, and all the back chapters. We'll do that in a future part. Say probably by part 4. Let's go to Matthew chapter 22. Matthew 22. Okay. Jesus responded by speaking again in parables. The kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding party for his son. He sent his servants to call those invited to the wedding party, but they didn't want to come. Again, he sent other servants and said to them, tell those who haven't been invited, look, the meal is all prepared. I butchered the oxen and the fattened the cattle. Now everything's ready. Come to the wedding party. They paid no attention and went away, some to their fields, others to their businesses. The rest of them grabbed his servants, abused them, and killed them. The king was angry, so he sent his soldiers to destroy the murderers and set their city on fire. Then he said to his servants, the wedding party is prepared, but those who were invited weren't worthy. Therefore go to the roads on the edge of town and invite everyone you find to the wedding party. Then those servants went to the roads and gathered everyone they could find, both evil and good. The wedding party was full of guests. Now when the king came in and saw the guests, he spotted a man who wasn't wearing wedding clothes. He said to him, friend, How did you get in here without wedding clothes? But he was speechless. Then the king said to his servants, tie his hands and feet and throw him out into the furthest darkness. People there will be weeping and grinding their teeth. Many are invited, but few people are chosen. Then the Pharisees met together to find a way to trap Jesus in his words. They sent their disciples, along with the supporters of Herod, to him. Teacher, they say, we know that you are genuine and that you teach God's way as it really is. We know that you are not swayed by people's opinions because you don't show favoritism. So tell us what you think. Does the law allow people to pay taxes to Caesar or not, knowing their evil motives? Jesus replied, why do you test me, you hypocrites? Show me the coin used to pay the tax. And they brought him a denarius. Whose image and inscription is this? He asked. Caesar's, they replied. Then he said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and to God what belongs to God. When they heard this, they were astonished and they departed. That same day, the Sadducees, who denied that there is a resurrection, came to Jesus. They asked, Teacher, Moses said if a man who doesn't have children dies, his brother must marry his wife and produce children for his brother. Now, that's found in Deuteronomy 25, verse 5, by the way. Now there were 7 brothers among us. The first one married and died. Because he had no children, he left his widow to his brother. The same thing happened to the second brother and the third, and in fact with all 7 brothers. Finally, the woman died. At the resurrection, which of the 7 brothers will be her husband? They were all married to her. Jesus responded, you are wrong because you don't know either the scriptures or God's power. At the resurrection, people won't marry, nor will they be given in marriage. Instead, they will be like angels from God. And as for the resurrection of the dead, haven't you read what God told you? I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. It's found in Exodus 3, verses 16 and verse 15 and 16. Verses 6, rather, and 15 and 16, I should say. He isn't the God of the dead, but of the living. Now, when the crowd heard this, they were astonished at his teaching. When the Pharisees heard that Jesus had left the Sadducees speechless, they met together. One of them, a legal expert, tested him. Teacher, what is the greatest commandment in the law? He replied, you must love the Lord with your God with all your heart and all your being. Found in Deuteronomy 6, verse 5. And with all your mind. The first is the greatest commandment. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. You must love your neighbor as you love yourself. Found in Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. All the law and the prophets depend on these 2 commands. As the Pharisees were gathering, Jesus asked them, what do you think about the Christ? Whose son is he? David's son. They replied. He said, and how is it that David, inspired by the Holy Spirit, called him Lord when he said, the Lord said to my Lord, sit on my right side and until I turn your enemies into your footstool? That's found in Psalms 110, verse 1. If David calls him Lord, how can he be David's son? No one was able to answer him, and from that day forward, nobody dared to ask him anything. That's Matthew 22. I've got a few seconds left. We'll be back in the next part with Galatians chapter 2. You're listening to The Corner with E-Dub. Be right back.